just got Nigeria February's Stanbic IBTC S&P Purchasing Managers Index data out this morning. Nigeria's headline PMI rose to 53.7 in February from 52.0 in January, signaling a solid monthly improvement in business conditions, also the fastest growth in over a year. The health of the private sector has now strengthened in 3 consecutive months, and according to the head of equity research at Stanbic IBTC, the economy is expected to grow by 3.5% year-on-year in real terms in 2025, with the Q1 growth print forecasted to settle at 3.55% year-on-year. Still in Nigeria, Dangote Cement posted a net profit of 503.2 billion naira in the 2024 financial year, marking 10% growth from the 455.6 billion naira recorded in 2023. Dangote Cement also exported about 128.3 billion naira worth of cement in the period. Hello, welcome to Global Business Insights, where we look deeper at the main business stories. Today in this episode, we focus on technology news and a slew of PMI data, giving us a glimpse at the latest with economic activity all over the world. But first, some updates in the technology sector, as that sector rides an ongoing, if not turbulent, wave of disruptive digital revolution. Microsoft is shutting down Skype. That will be on May 5. The disruptor of the landline industry finally will be disrupted after over 2 decades, and also after struggling to cope with stronger products like Zoom and Slack. In 2011, Microsoft bought Skype for $8.5 billion and now is moving its customers to Teams, that is its own workplace collaboration product. After its launch in 2003, Skype became popular, leading eBay to buy it in 2005 for $2.6 billion. Its popularity was helped by a pandemic bounce, but the shift in working styles also boosted new rivals like Zoom, Google Meet, Cisco WebEx, and more competition came also from Apple's FaceTime and Meta's WhatsApp. eBay sold its 65% stake in Skype for $1.9 billion in 2009 before Microsoft bought it in 2011. Microsoft, rather than take it to another level, eventually decided to develop its own teams with similar services. Skype will be remembered for unlocking the huge potential demand for free voice calls that was then leveraging mainstreaming of broadband. Now to the UK, where the tension between regulators and innovators could be taking a different turn. iCloud users in the UK will not have access to advanced data protection, a key data security feature for iCloud storage. This optional end-to-end encryption feature helps to ensure that only users can access their own personal data, such as photos and messages. End-to-end encryption protects sensitive data such as passwords stored in users' iCloud keychain, and the data is basically scrambled when stored on Apple servers, and only the user who holds the account can see it unscrambled. This implies that no one with access to Apple's servers, like hackers or even the company itself, could read users' sensitive data. Apple did this to avoid complying with the request from the British government for a technical backdoor to access user data. This request by the government, served by the Home Office under the Investigatory Powers Act, IPA, is now compelling firms to provide information to law enforcement agencies and now demanding access to encrypted data stored by Apple users worldwide in its cloud service. The UK government move also got a reaction from Tulsi Gabbard, the director of US National Intelligence, who says she was not informed in advance about the UK government's demand to be granted access to Apple customers' encrypted data from anywhere in the world. Now to Amazon, which became the third tech giant in recent months to announce a breakthrough in quantum computing, a new technology promising vastly more robust processing power. Amazon unveiled Ocelot, a prototype chip built on Catqubit technology. According to Oscar Painter, Amazon Web Services Center for Quantum Computing at the California Institute of Technology, where the work was carried out, he said this breakthrough could bring this powerful capability to users within a decade, which is much earlier than initially thought. Quantum computers will be able to solve problems even the most powerful modern computers cannot, which could yield to new medicines and breakthrough in research. The challenge today is its propensity for errors. Qubits are the basic elements of quantum computers, like bits in the computers we use today. Catqubits is an advancement that is proposed as one way of engineering error resistance into the design of the qubits that quantum computers use. Still on Amazon, with the launch of Alexa Plus last week, the voice assistant has been 100% re-architected. The new Alexa is conversational, proactive, capable of reason and inference, and can learn from the context, indeed far more useful than its predecessor, which will still be around. At the launch event, Amazon's head of devices and services, Panos Panay, said Alexa Plus can book a restaurant, text the babysitter, create a travel itinerary, read your study guide, and test you on the answers. Remember your favorite movies and food, as well as find your smart devices and take action. And it comes with the new Alexa app. Analysts are also giving this upgrade very positive reviews. Still more technology news, this time from Singapore, where the biggest bank, DBS, says it expects to cut about 4,000 roles over the next 3 years as artificial intelligence is deployed. The cuts, which will be achieved by natural attrition, will not affect, at least for now, permanent staff. That is, it affects only contract and temporary staff. The bank's outgoing chief executive, Piyush Gupta, also said it expected to create around 1,000 new AI-related jobs. DBS becomes one of the first major banks to openly admit details on how AI use will affect its operations, and I expect more to follow. And now this time on cybercrime. Last week, hackers believed to be from North Korea's notorious Lazarus Group stole $1.46 billion of cryptocurrency from Bybit, a crypto trading platform. The figures seem to get larger and larger. Bybit is now offering cash rewards to anyone who spots and is able to prevent them from cashing out the loot. The bounty scheme gives 5% of the sum identified to individuals who successfully persuade a company that has control of the funds to freeze the money, and also awarding 5% as a commission to the companies that take action to expose the theft. In the crypto space, you have a lot of talented blockchain investigators who are now financially motivated to track theft, using their skills in following illicit transactions and bringing criminals to book. The scale of the theft heightens the risk associated with an already volatile industry and makes crypto-related cybersecurity even more critical. Since there are no regulators involved in crypto transactions, victims to criminal behavior do not have an obvious body to turn to for help. All this as analysts call for better regulation and agreement on some form of independent policing of these crypto-based transactions. Major technology investor Softbank Group CEO Masayoshi Son says it plans to borrow $16 billion to invest in AI and another $8 billion in early 2026. It was reported in January that Softbank is in talks to invest up to $25 billion in ChatGPT owner OpenAI as the Japanese conglomerate continues to expand into the sector. And our last tech story is about Facebook. And the European human rights body has ruled that Facebook's algorithm shows gender bias when promoting job advertisements. The Netherlands Institute for Human Rights said in a February 18 decision that Facebook's algorithm reinforced gender stereotypes by mainly showing typically female professions to female Facebook users in the Netherlands, and that Meta should have monitored and adjusted its algorithm to prevent this. To summarize, the tension between technology innovators and regulators and the privacy and customer rights, all these continue to play out as roles are being redefined and control lapses unveil huge gaps and risks that are being underplayed. The pace of innovation is getting faster. Old, irredeemable gadgets and software are also being phased out, I would say, faster, while new ones are being reinvented to be even better. And some of the newer technologies which we thought are 20 or 30 years away may be ready for customers within the next decade. We also are seeing much more investment targeting the technologies space. In short, get ready for a vastly different technology-dominated world. Welcome back. China's Caixin Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index rose more than expected to 50.8 in February from January's 50.1. The latest data also shows the fastest rises in output and new orders for 3 months. Also just out, the Euro area's manufacturing sector remained in contraction. In February, PMI came in at 47.6, but still a 2-year high, signaling that the industrial downturn was at its least severe since early 2023. Germany manufacturing PMI also at 46.5, still in contraction, but at a 25-month high as the downturn shows further signs of easing. CFG Advisory CEO Adetileo Adebajo, commenting on last week's Nigeria GDP data, said there is an output gap problem in an economy still falling short of its productivity and growth potential, adding that the government needs to optimize equity in its capital structure by selling assets in an effort to reduce its debt profile and achieve investment-grade credit ratings. New industrial policies also needed to develop local supply chains, with Nigeria farmers also expanding agricultural productivity and creating employment along that value chain. The manufacturing sector also can be incentivized to do much better. The year 2024 ended with an overall annual GDP growth rate of 3.4% from 2.74% reported in 2023, less than government's target of 6% GDP growth, and with population growing at about 3%, GDP per capita remains in the low quartile amongst its regional peers and is evidence of an economy still struggling with stagflation. Asia-Pacific markets mostly higher as investors awaited clarity on U.S. plans to impose tariffs this week on key trading partners. Ukraine's Zelensky said on Sunday he believed he could salvage his relationship with the U.S., but the talks needed to continue behind closed doors. This was after we saw more like a duel instead of signing of a mineral deal at the Oval Office on Friday. Britain and France say they will lead an attempt to end the war that would include an initial 1-month truce with Russia covering air, sea and infrastructure. Still too early to say how this will develop. Meanwhile, President Trump announced the names of 5 digital assets he expects to include in a new U.S. strategic reserve of cryptocurrencies on Sunday, spiking up the value of each. Well, that's all we can take on this episode of Global Business Insights. Thanks for watching. This is Bode Oshosami. Bye-bye.